Are you looking for a commuter style e-bike that has a mid-drive and a torque and cadence sensor built into it? We'll look no further. This is the VTUVIA CMB Pro, and I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about this bike. So let's get into it. When it came to the assembly of this bike, it was pretty easy, but one thing I want you to know is that when it gets shipped to you, this rear fender will need to be adjusted because it is actually touching the rear tire, making it not want to move, and I don't want that to trip you up. Now, this bike will come to you as a Class 3 e-bike, which means you can go up to, they say 24 miles an hour. We're going to test that out to see if we can get it to go faster, but 24 miles an hour via this thumb throttle here on your left-hand side, your torque and cadence sensor, and your 5 levels of pedal assist. This bike weighs 66 pounds, but has a maximum payload capacity of 330 pounds. And during the making of this video, you can purchase this on their website for $24.99, and it comes with a 2-year warranty. It does only come in this step-through version right here, and VTUVIA says that the average rider height is from 5'1" to 6'1". It also comes in 2 colors. It comes in a metallic silver and this dark blue color right here. And I know what you're thinking, this doesn't look dark blue, this looks green. And you are right, in the shadows, it does look green. But when you get it out in the sun, it bounces between this dark blue and this green color depending on how the light hits it. Now, VTUVIA says that the CMB Pro will go up to 70 miles on a single battery charge. And well, we're gonna find out today because I'm gonna be in the saddle for a long time. I have a feeling, but we're gonna run it through all of the tests and we're gonna see what kind of mileage we get out of this bike. The CMB Pro has a 48 volt, 500 watt mid-drive motor. It has a peak power of 818 watts and an impressive 175 Newton meters of torque. One of the things that I'm really curious about is with this mid-drive motor, it will switch between torque and cadence while you're riding. I have other bikes that have a torque and a cadence sensor on it that you have to go ahead and get into the app and switch it. This one is going to read how you are riding and switch itself automatically. It has a 10-speed transmission, a Shimano Detour derailleur, and a 10-speed trigger shifter. For stopping power, you have the Tektro 2-piston hydraulic brake system and 160 millimeter rotors. The front forks are hydraulic. They have 100 millimeters of travel. You can preload them and you can lock them out. The bike sits on 26 by 2.4 inch Innova tires. They have a great street pattern on them and they are puncture resistant. When it comes to the battery on this bike, it is hidden in this down tube right here. And it is a 48 volt, 14.4 amp hours with 691.2 watt hours of power. It's going to come with a 2 amp charger, which means it'll take about 7 to 8 hours to charge it up from empty. You can charge it while it's in the bike with this charging port right here, or you can remove it and charge it somewhere else. When it comes to taking out the battery, we're just gonna put one of our 2 keys that are provided with the bike in. You're just gonna turn it, pops out a little bit. There is this tab right here. We're gonna push that and pull the battery out. At the bottom of this battery is a power indicator level. Let's see if you guys can see that. You hit that. I don't know why it says red because this thing is fully charged, but there's an indicator right there. Let's go ahead, put it back in the bike, click it, pull the key out, and you're good to go. The CMB Pro has a UL certification of 2849, and it has an IPX rating of 5, which means it is protected against low pressure water streams from any angle. Additional features include plastic fenders, aluminum pedals, a Sail Royale seat with a quick release seat post, a rear rack that they claim will hold up to 300 pounds, and an adjustable stem. Now let's talk size and fit. When you take a look at the bike itself is 73.7 inches in length, and the step through is only 16.9 inches from the ground. That makes it super easy to get on and off of this bike. It does have this adjustable stem, which is going to allow you to bring these handlebars forward and back to make things more comfortable for you. And for your shorter rider, I mean, that seat goes down extremely low, but your shorter rider is 5'1". Now for your higher rider, there are no numbers or anything here on the back, but it does tell you when to stop. So right there, that is going to be for your tallest rider. Now me, I am 5'9", 220 pounds. I have a 32-inch inseam. And when it comes to being on this bike, well, this is what I'm going to look like riding it today. Cockpit Operations. On your left-hand side, you have a single locking grip right here. It is a nice medium type rubber, and it has this nice palm rest right here. This is your front brake lever. This is your throttle, and this is your control panel. When it comes to power on the bike, you're just going to hold this power button right down here at the bottom of the controller. It's going to lighten up your screen. As you can see, it is a full color screen. You have your battery indicator right here. It also shows you the percentage. This is your speedometer area right here. This tells you your trip distance, and this tells you which pedal assist level that you are in. If you hit the M button right here in the middle, it's going to bounce around to giving you your average speed, your max speed. Oh, we have not done 73 miles an hour. And then it goes back to your normal speed. If you hit the bottom button down here, right now it's showing trip distance. We're going to hit that again. It's going to give us time on the bike. One more time, how many miles overall on the odometer, the amount of power that it's putting out. I'm assuming that's watts. We'll find out. And then it goes back to trip. For the pedal assist levels, you got your plus and minus. So you just hit that button and it's going to climb up into your various pedal assist levels. And then you're going to hit your minus button to take you back down. To turn the headlight on, you're just going to hold the plus button. Your headlight comes on, your screen dims a little bit, and then you get this little headlight indicator right here. To turn the headlight off, where you're just going to hold that plus button again until your headlight goes off. This is your headlight on the bike. Now, it's just your standard, everyday kind of bright headlight. It will help you get seen on the road, just not sure how well it would do during nighttime riding. This is what your taillight looks like when your headlight is on. When you hit the brakes, it just gets brighter. And when you turn your headlight off, the brake functionality still works. On your right-hand side, you have your rear brake lever right here. And then right here is your gear indicator. It doesn't give you the numbers. I don't think you really need them. But to go up in gear, you're going to use your index finger right here. And then to go down in gear, you're going to use your thumb. Let's talk about advanced settings. When it comes to clearing your trip mileage, you're just going to hold your plus and minus button for like 1 second. It'll clear everything out. I accidentally did it a few seconds ago, but trust me, it clears it out. Then to get into the advanced setting parts, you're just going to double click this M button real quick, and it takes you into your P settings. Now, this is the brightness of the display, so we're going to leave that at 5. To go check out the next one, we can hit the plus button, and that's going to take us through the different levels. This is how long the bike is going to stay awake until it automatically shuts off. That's fine. You have P3 right here, which goes between the kilometers and miles per hour. One has it at miles per hour. P4 is for like an automatic transmission. Now, since this is a 10-speed version, they do have a single gear belt-driven bike, and this is where that would come into play. But right now, we're just going to leave that at 0 because we have a manual transmission. From there, it takes you into your super advanced settings. This takes a password. The password is in the manual. I'm not going to make any changes to this part of the bike as I want to write it in its factory settings. It is now time for my favorite part, so let's get this bad boy out on the road and see how it does. We are here on the 606 trail. I don't think I'm going to be able to do a whole lot on this trail because there's going to be tons of people. It is a weekend, and right now we are cruising in pedal assist 0, which means throttle's not working. None of that. I'm getting no assist to the pedaling, but we are cruising at like 10 miles an hour. I don't know what gear I have it in, but one of the lower gears, and riding this bike is totally easy. And you know, as I figured it would be, when you have these thinner tires and just the way the seating position of this bike, you can ride this bike without power, no problem. All right, guys, as I thought, there's way too many people on this trail to do any other testing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead, get off this trail, do some of the other stuff, and then when I'm in a safe place, we'll go ahead and check out the throttle and the pedal assist levels. Let's go ahead and test out this torque sensor. Now, we do have it in pedal assist number 1, and we're just cruising around at 14 miles an hour. That's like its standard. But if I crank on it, which I'm doing right now, it should shoot up, and it is. Because I know some are limited. The good ones will just let you keep climbing, and that's what we're doing. So I can already tell that the torque sensor on this bike is a nice one. But now I need to figure out, where does the cadence sensor part kick in? Now, the way they explained it to me, just cruising along like this is where the cadence sensor part kicks in. I'm putting very little effort, if none at all, to keep this speed. My first impressions when it comes to this bike is that this thing is incredibly smooth, and it is damn near silent. Like, I don't really hear the motor or anything at all. The tires are going to keep everything quiet. Let's see, we don't have any traffic coming. Okay. The seating position is excellent. I'm sitting straight up. These grips are going to be really nice on your hands. And I mean, this is just the beginning part of this review. You know, we've only gone like 5 miles. So we're going to see how everything feels by the time we make it to the end. You can definitely tell that it is the weekend, and it's a beautiful weekend. Originally, they said the high was only going to be about like 65, and now it says it's going to be like 71. I feel like I should have wore a t-shirt for this, but it was chilly this morning when I went ahead and did the specs. But I believe that with me riding down the road, well, we're going to get enough wind going to where I should still be comfortable. I can see where a lot of people would just keep this bike in pedal assist 1 and ride around. It was totally comfortable. We're gonna go ahead and kick it up into pedal assist number 3 for right now. I do plan on spending most of my ride in pedal assist number 5. You know, I'm trying to give you the worst case scenario with this bike. So, you know, they say that 70 miles is the best case scenario. Well, let's go ahead and show you the worst. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do some off-road testing. Oh, they got it roped off. Oh, guess we're not doing it at this section right here. We're not cutting through that. It is pretty muddy and gross. On your left, this bike definitely needs a bell, and it doesn't come with one. And you would figure for 2,500 bucks that this bike would come with a bell, because on days like this, I'd be dinging this thing all the time. All right, now let's go ahead and do some off-roading. Go ahead and use the throttle. This is not an off-road bike by any means, but it can handle it. Let's go ahead and test out the walk feature on this bike. Go ahead and do it by going over this bridge right here. I mean, I'm sure it has a walk feature. Let's see, we'll go ahead and put it down into pedal assist 0. Hold down the negative key, and yep, ooh, this one has a strong walk feature. That is nice. We are just cruising right up this bridge at 2.4 miles an hour, and it's climbing, it's going faster. So I know we'll make it up that part, but let's go ahead and put it into pedal assist number 5. And let's see if we can just throttle over this. Now this thing has 175 Newton meters of torque. I mean, we're cruising up no problem. I'm not pedaling, we're just using throttle. Oh, I got a hill test coming up for this bad boy. We are here to do the sand test. As you can see, these guys are setting up to do some volleyball stuff, but I don't think this bike's gonna make it through. I mean, just because of the tires and stuff. But we do have it in pedal assist number 5. I did lower down some of the gears. We're gonna use throttle, we're gonna pedal, we're gonna do whatever we can to try to see if we can make it through. I mean, this thing wants to go. And I can tell you that it is doing exactly what I thought it would. These tires are just too small or too thin to make it go through the sand. Yeah, I mean, I can feel it definitely has the power in the back. So yeah, I mean, it'll get you to the beach very comfortably, but it is 100% not gonna get you through the beach. Let me show you how this bike performs. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna show you how the throttle works. If we put it into pedal assist number 1 and we hit the throttle, the bike takes off incredibly slow, very controlled, and very gently as we go forward. And it will get us up to top speed. It's just gonna take an awful long time to do it. Now, every time you bounce up into a different pedal assist level, like 2, 3, 4, and 5, whenever you hit the throttle, it's gonna take off a lot more aggressively. So like we're here in 5 right now, and we're just launching forward pretty quickly. So whenever you're using throttle, if you wanna take off faster, well, just put it up into a higher pedal assist level, and you can do that, and it will be just fine. But if you want to cruise at a very slow and controlled speed, well, go ahead and keep it down into pedal assist number 1, but realize that it's still going to take you up to top speed of 24 miles an hour, or at least that's what I believe it is. It'll just do it a lot slower. Now, in case you don't know, this is Lakeshore Trail. We're on the very edge here. This is the Chicago skyline. That is Lake Michigan. And you have a guy on a jet ski just cruising right on by, just having a good time. This area is my happy place. I love to do my reviews around here. And it's nice to know that I'm on a bike that will actually be here on this trail for a while. Let's go ahead and test out the pedal assist with this bike. I do have it in its top gear. Well, I have it in gear 9, and we have it in pedal assist number 1. We're just going to take off, and immediately the mid-drive provides assist, which is good. That's how it should be. And right now we're just cruising to see what's going to feel comfortable. Let me kick it down in a gear, make things a little bit faster here. In pedal assist number 1, you're going to cruise at around 13 miles an hour. Let's see if we notice a difference in pedal assist number 2. We're going to cruise like a mile faster. I can tell, yeah, there we go at 14. Go ahead and kick it into 3. We're going to go up in a gear. And yeah, we're going to cruise a mile faster. So here's the great part about that. This is where the mid-drive part comes in. I feel like this is where we're doing the cadence part. It's just holding a nice speed, and then boom, whenever we kick it in, we're just gonna launch forward. And everything, man, this bike feels good. There is no ghost pedaling with it, as there shouldn't be. We go ahead and put it into pedal assist number 5 and see if we can get a top speed on this bike. I am fighting the wind. Let's go. 25, 26, come on, 27, let's go. There we go. Oh, that is a leg smoker. 27 miles an hour. Looks like we still have some boats in the marina. A lot of people are starting to put them up for the winter, but we still have some out there. We have the bike out here in the sun. I'm gonna show you how the paint changes depending on how you look at it. When it comes to this bike, they make 2 different versions of it. This one is the 10-speed version. They have a single gear version that uses a belt drive only. That is also an option when you are taking a look at this bike to purchase. Now, if you're wondering how this bike handles a gravel road, well, we are cruising along just fine. Go ahead and put it off-road here so people got room to move. Just riding through a bunch of goose poop though. Here's also where a bell or something like that would come in handy. Just get. This is a great day to go for a ride. You know, I know that they advertise this bounces between cadence and torque sensor, but I have to tell you, I don't feel the cadence part of this bike. I feel the torque sensor part for sure, which I would rather have that than a cadence sensor, especially on a mid-drive motor. I mean, I don't doubt that it's not in there, but it works so smooth that if you're just riding this bike, you're not gonna notice the difference. All right, guys, see this hill right here? Normally, I would not even attempt to go up this hill with a bike that isn't a dual motor bike. But this has 175 Newton meters of torque. This hill that's in front of me, it starts off at 20 and then shoots up to 31. Look at that guy, he's on an aerial rider. He's just heading up it right there, no problem. I've done that before. I passed that guy a little bit earlier. I like it, he's like, come on up. I'm like, we're working on it. Hopefully we can. Okay, this is not really fair on this bike, so let's go. We got it in pedal assist 5. We got some low gears. We're gonna give it throttle. We're gonna give it pedal assist, and let's go. This thing should be doing really well. You know what, we're making it. Oh my gosh, we're making it. I'm kicking down in gear, but we are just coming right up this hill. This is the 31% grade right here, and we made it no problem. Okay, that's impressive. Let's try it with throttle only though. I want to see if that'll work. We're gonna do it at a running start. Let's go. Let's go. I don't think the throttle's gonna have enough to do it on its own. This grass is a little wet. Oh yeah. We're already past the 20% grade. We're on a higher grade right now. It's getting slow, but it hasn't quit yet. Oh, come on. We're almost to the top. Okay, I gotta pedal. I've got to pedal, but I can, right? This is the only bike that has not been a dual motor bike that I have put on this hill, and it's made it. Where is that aerial rider guy? He would be impressed. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and do the brake test. We're gonna put this bike up as fast as it can go. We're gonna slam on the brakes and see how well it does. Now, since this isn't a class 2 bike, it's class 3, we're just gonna go at full speed. Oh, we stopped right at 39 feet. It was controlled, but I had a feeling because of these tires, we were gonna slide a long distance. This is what I consider to be a premium commuter e-bike. Everything about it feels nice. It feels like it's high end, and it performs like it is as well. Now, if you were wondering what you're gonna look like riding this bike, well, as you can see, I'm sitting straight up and down. I'm totally comfortable. These grips feel great. The seat feels good. I'm not a Cell Royale fan when it comes to these seats. And at first I thought this one was gonna be too hard, but it seems to be working out well for this bike. I am super impressed on how this bike climbed that hill. I know the camera doesn't really show how this, how tall and the angle of that hill that this bike made it up, but it's legit. Since I have been riding into the wind this entire time, I have kept it into pedal assist number 5. On the way back, we'll probably put it down into 3 because I'll have the wind at my back and I won't be straining so hard to keep going forward. Because of that, we're burning up a lot of battery power. All right, guys, you see it? That is Chicago way off in the distance right there. I figured I'd go ahead and turn around. We're at 39% battery power at the moment, and the display shows we're at 16.4 miles. Now, if I take a look at Strava, Strava shows that we're at 17.24, so we're about like 0.8 of a mile difference on this, and so something's just not reading right, but it's not that big of a deal. Oh, it looks like we just shot up to 40%. Either way, we're gonna start heading back. I'm probably gonna put it into pedal assist number 3, and we're gonna see how far we can still make it on this bike. Oh my gosh, we are riding pretty hard into the wind, so I'm gonna put it into pedal assist number 5. I thought the wind would be at my back. It's Chicago, so it'll be at your back, your front, your side. It'll be wherever you don't want it to be. Guys, I am just racing down this road. 28 miles an hour. Can we get 29? Now that we're going with the wind, there's 29. Well, we had 29. This bike is silent. And because of that, that's why you definitely need a bell. So if you order this bike, go into Amazon, order a bell immediately, especially if you live in a big city. You're gonna need it. You need some way to let these people know you're coming up on them because this bike is stealthy. I am really enjoying the 10 gears that it has because then you just feel like you just have so much more control on what's gonna be most comfortable for you while pedaling. So here's an issue. They talked about this bike will do 70 miles. We just hit 21 miles and we are at 15% battery power. I am starting to get concerned. I've already put it down into pedal assist number 3 because we have a ways to go before we are back home. Luckily enough, if this bike doesn't make it power-wise, well, it is super easy to ride without any assist at all. And before you guys beat this bike up on mileage, it's really hard to explain the kind of wind that I was fighting into for the first half of this video of the road test. I mean, it was pretty intense. And then we hit that monster hill. Not once, we did it twice. And once I tried to do it with throttle only. That took a lot of battery power out of this bike. I am down to 10% battery power, and normally I would be freaking out. But this is a mid-drive, and we do have it in pedal assist number 3. So I do hope and expect that it should get me pretty close to home. The nice thing is as we get closer and I have to take it down in some gears or in pedal assist levels, well, I should still be able to make it. You know what? I went ahead and put it back into pedal assist number 5. I don't know. I'm either pushing fate or I've got this bad boy figured out. Either way, we'll know here pretty soon. Now we're gonna leave it in pedal assist 4 for a while and see how I'm feeling. All right, guys, I went ahead and took a detour from the 606 trail that I normally hit riding back home. With it being a weekend, there's so many people that are on there, and I still have 5% left on this bike. So I figured I'd go ahead and turn, keep it on the streets, keep it out of the way of people. Plus, it'll also take us farther before we make it to the house. There are things that I put on this bike to make it safe for me to ride around town during this review. One is this Hafni bar in mirror. And you would figure that with handlebars like this, that you would have to get like one of those bar mirrors that hook to the stem. But I found that this bar end mirror works on any kind of bike that I ride. I also have my Seiko battery rechargeable light there. And that thing works because, ooh, we just dropped down to 0. We went from 4 to 0 real quick. And I'm not close to home. Oh no! But we did run out of power. I'm gonna pull over right here. We're gonna figure out the distance and then I'm gonna ride it home. This bike's not hard to ride without power. I mean, I'm riding it right now and it's totally comfortable. If I get tired, I'll just lower some gears. But I'm gonna figure out what the mileage is, get it home, give you my final thoughts. I have made it home. I had to ride this bike about 3 miles without any power, which was no big deal at all. So that was a good thing. Now, when this bike did run out of power, it showed that it was at 30 miles on the dot. Now, if you take a look at Strava, Strava shows that I went 31.16 miles by the time it ran out. So we do have that little bit over a mile distance, difference between the distance that the display shows and what Strava shows. So I'm going to let you choose whether it was up to, whether you trust Strava more or the display more. I'm personally going to give it to Strava because Strava has been, it's been tried and true when I do my reviews on the distance that I've gone. This bike is a hill climber. Holy cow. That is one of the huge things that I noticed about this bike, but it does have 175 Newton meters of torque coming out of this mid-drive motor. I was super excited and happy that it was able to climb that hill with a 31-degree climb in it. So that was crazy. I'm super happy you did it. If you didn't watch the whole review, you might want to go back and watch that part because I did not think this bike was going to make it up that hill. Everything is super comfortable on this bike. It does make you, just feel pretty good when you're riding it. The seating position is great. The grips feel great. The 10 gears on it. I mean, there's a lot of things that make this bike super nice for a commuter. There are a couple of things that I would change about it if I could. Number one, add a bell immediately to this bike, especially if you live in a big city like I do. And it would have been nice if this bike had cruise control. But that was like the only two things that I can think of. Like everything else on this bike was perfect. Now, one thing I did want to mention is that this does have a cadence and torque sensor built in, and it bounces automatically between the two. But I never noticed the difference. I couldn't tell when I was on cadence, and I couldn't tell when I was on torque. So that is a super smooth and nice setup for this entire bike. Speaking of smooth, well, that's the one word that I would use for when it comes to describing this bike. This bike is super smooth. And if you are interested in the VTUVIA CMB Pro, well, I'm going to go ahead and leave a link down in the description below. If I have a discount code, I'm going to throw that down there as well. Now, if you find any value in my reviews, please just go ahead and give the video a like, or if you were entertained, well, go ahead and subscribe, or you know what, you don't have to do any of that. It's really up to you. Either way, I'm still going to be knocking out these videos, so I appreciate anything that you do to support the channel. So I want to thank you for watching. And until I see you again, enjoy the ride.